A white adult female orders an attack on a black child by way of young white girls. Put up the picture full mass here. This person is now serving a prison sentence. So she ordered white teenagers to jump a black girl in a brutal attack. It's so brutal we cannot show that video. I can only show you the still. This happened in the UK. Winnie Connors is her name. She encouraged a group of young white children to beat up a black child outside their school near London. This happened last year. Last year, she confessed to the role in her attack. Winnie Connors will now spend 20 months in prison after admitting to intentionally encouraging or assisting in the offense. The 40-year-old was seen on a viral video spurring on a 16-year-old girl and two 11-year-old girls as they jumped a 15-year-old black girl outside of Thomas Kinvet College. This is in Surrey. That video shows Connors and the 16-year-old approaching the victim, literally running up to the victim as she was leaving school. Connors orders the 16-year-old by saying, "Get her," and then referring to the black teen, obviously, and the 16-year-old starts hitting the victim. And that's how it starts. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Another quote, punch your face off. The woman yells as they trade punches. The two 11-year-old girls join the assault. They start viciously kicking the victim, pulling her hair braids. The police said the 16-year-old even ripped a section of the victim's braids from the front of her head completely out. Connors is heard instigating the fight and directing the 16-year-old and the 11-year-old girls throughout the entire beating. Early reports and a petition indicate that Connors may have been the mother of the older girl involved in the fight. Police suspected the attack was racially motivated and arrested Connors. A 17-year-old girl who was also linked to the fight, the younger girls, and a 43-year-old man at the scene. Despite being charged with racially aggravated grievous bodily harm, Connors was never convicted on that count. The 16-year-old girl, who was the main assailant, fled the scene and later turned herself into police. She pleaded guilty to assault with actual bodily harm. This was October 2023. She was ordered to pay a $300 penalty and was also issued a restraining order. The 17-year-old also confessed to an actual bodily harm charge in connection to the assault and to attacking a friend of the victim. The 43-year-old man and the 11-year-old girls were cleared of any wrongdoing. In the weeks leading up to the attack, the 16-year-old sister was involved in a verbal dispute with one of the victim's friends. So the victim got involved. Police say she suffered minor injuries from the attack. The assault led to widespread backlash against the school's leadership for their inadequate response and demands for members of parliament to launch an investigation. And I stand with that request from the community and beyond. But you got to think about how egregious this was. This was premeditated. It wasn't just abuse on one child. And that's kind of how the authorities are looking at this, that the adult female who engaged in this behavior basically abused or caused bodily injury to one person or to one child. The way I see it is that every child involved, the 11-year-olds and others, they all were abused by this particular adult. They were recruited in a gang-like fashion in order to create a mob attack. And when you combine all of those, you get an aggravated offense, which would have warranted more than simply 20 months, all right? Okay, Jackson, hell of a thing, but true.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one, clearly out of line, ridiculous. You're an adult, you should know better. But the thing about violence is, you really got to be careful with it. If it's not self-defense, you never know what could go wrong. I mean, especially in a country like America, this wasn't over here, but here everybody got guns. You never know who's going to have a gun on them. But even at that, like, You could hit somebody wrong, somebody could hit you wrong just the right way, and that's it. Or you could fall and hit your head or whatever it may be. You never know. So, I mean, generally speaking, if at all possible, avoid violence because you're probably going to get in trouble. If you've got anything to lose whatsoever, you're going to be mad at yourself if you're sitting up in prison for any amount of time over something that you really didn't need to do.
That's
So
right.
just the mother should definitely get some punishment for this, and unacceptable.
Yeah, very much so. And once again, an investigation looks like it will come. All right.